Good morning. Welcome to the disciplinary hearings of the Board of Vocational Nursing and Psychiatric Technician. This meeting is held on Thursday, August 24th at the Hilton Los Angeles Airport International Ballroom at 5711 West Century Boulevard. I would like to call this meeting to order. I'm Tammy Endozo, the current board president. If I could have the board members introduce themselves, starting at my far right.
That would be me. Cheryl Turner, board member appointed by Governor Brown.
Alita Carpenter, board member also appointed by Governor Brown.
Samantha James Perez, professional member and also gubernatorial appointee.
Ken Maxey, public member appointed by Speaker Rendon.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Bernice Basti Martinez. I'm the vice president of the board and a public member.
Good morning. My name is Paul Sellers. I'm a psychiatric technician. I'm appointed by the governor.
Good morning, John Deerking, public member.
Good morning, Donna Norton, LVN member, governor appointed.
I'd like to establish that we have a quorum. Before I turn the meeting over to the Administrative Law Judge, Howard Cohen, who will preside over the hearings, I would like to thank the schools and all members of the public who have joined us today. For the sake of time, I will not be introducing those who have signed in, but we appreciate your presence here. Part of calling the meeting to order today includes a Pledge of Allegiance. If I could ask everyone to stand and join us in the pledge as led by my fellow board member and military veteran, Donna Norton.
I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
So this brings us to agenda item number 5, public comment. Public comment items not on the agenda. Individuals may appear before the board at this time to discuss items not on the agenda. The board may not discuss or take any action on any item raised during this public comment section, except to decide whether to place the matter on the agenda for future meetings. And this is per Government Code sections 11125 and 11125.7a. As always, a reminder, please conduct yourself in a professional manner when making comments. And the comments should be directed to the board members and refrain from personal attacks, profanity, or threatening behavior. It is helpful for the record if you would state your name and the name of the organization you represent. However, you may remain anonymous if you wish. And thank you in advance. As previously stated, the board cannot take actions on any issues raised during public comment. However, you are welcome to provide board staff with this information for action on a future board meeting. Anybody wish to make a comment? Thank you. The purpose of this hearings today is for the board to consider petitions for reinstatement of licenses that have been revoked by the board. These proceedings are a serious matter and proper decorum must be maintained. Please take a moment right now to ensure that your phones are turned off or in silent mode. Also, please make sure that you keep as quiet as possible during the hearings and that you refrain from making comments or expressions that may disrupt the hearings. Your cooperation in keeping these proceedings orderly is appreciated. I will now turn the meeting over to the Administrative Law Judge to begin the hearings.
Good morning. We have several hearings this today, and for the people who have brought petitions to be heard by the board today, I'm going to be issuing instructions at the beginning of the first hearing. I'll ask that all of the other petitioners pay close attention to the instructions so that I don't have to repeat them when your hearing is called. I'll just ask you whether you heard and understood those instructions. All right, let's open the record in the matter of the petition for reinstatement of revoked license filed by Beatriz Carrillo. This is Office of Administrative Hearings number 2017-080783. This is August 24, 2017. My name is Howard Cohen. I'm an administrative law judge with the Office of Administrative Hearings. I've been assigned to sit with the Board of Vocational Nursing and Psychiatric Technicians today, which is convened to consider this and other petitions. May I please take appearances for the record?
Good morning, Your Honor. Vivian Cho, Deputy Attorney General, appearing on behalf of the people of California.
Good morning, and I see the petitioner is not present today, is that correct?
That's correct, Your Honor.
Okay, and we do have a quorum of the board. Would you tell me the status of this case?
Sure. Counsel for the petitioner, Ms. Beatriz Carrillo, his name is Mr. Brett Sherman. He has indicated that Ms. Carrillo will be continuing the hearing on her petition for reinstatement to a later date.
All right, then this matter having been continued to a future meeting of the board, the record today on this matter will be closed, and we will proceed to the next matter. Let's go on the record in the matter of the petition for reinstatement of revoked license filed by Graciela Cordova. This is a petition for reinstatement bearing OAH number 2017-080642. Again, it's August 24, 2017. My name is Howard Cohen. I'm the administrative law judge from the Office of Administrative Hearings assigned to sit with the Board of Vocational Nursing and Psychiatric Technicians today to consider this petition. May I take appearances, please?
Good morning, Your Honor. Vivian Cho, Deputy Attorney General, appearing on behalf of the people of the state of California, pursuant to Business and Professions Code Section 2878.7 and Government Code Section 11522.
Good morning. And we do have a quorum of the board appearing for petitioner.
Yes, good morning. Scott Harris on behalf of the petitioner, Graciela Cordova, who is also present and to my left.
Good morning. I'm going to go through the instructions, counsel, even though I'm sure you're familiar with them. And again, let me ask that all the petitioners who will be appearing today pay attention to these instructions. The burden of proof is on the petitioner to establish that the petitioner is entitled to the relief requested. In this case, it's reinstatement of license. The Deputy Attorney General will first offer jurisdictional documents, including the petition and any documents that the petitioner submitted in support of the petition, and will discuss the background of the case. Petitioner may then make a presentation to the board under oath. If the petitioner has any additional documents that he or she wishes the board to consider, he or she may present them at this time. You may testify on your own behalf. You may call witnesses to testify for you. After your testimony and that of your witnesses, the Deputy Attorney General may have questions for you, and board members may have questions for you. You may state legal objections to questions, and I will rule on those objections. After the petition has been heard, after all the petitions today have been heard, the board will meet in closed session for deliberations. And the board's decisions will not be announced today. The board must deliberate, and then a written decision will be mailed within a matter of a few weeks. If you have any questions about those instructions, please ask them now.
No, thank you, Your Honor.
Those are clear? Okay, very well. Then, Ms. Cho, you may proceed.
Your Honor, members of the board, I would first like to mark for identification and offer into evidence as Exhibit 1 the original petition packet with the accompanying documents. I believe all members of the board and the petitioner have been provided with a copy of the same. Exhibit 1 consists of the following. Marked as Exhibit A is the petition for reinstatement and supporting documents. Marked as Exhibit B is the license certification for the petitioner. Marked as Exhibit C is the notice of hearing and related correspondence, and marked as Exhibit D is the 2012 board decision. I'm now ready to provide, pardon me.
That's okay. I'm going to mark the petition packet as Exhibit 1. Do you wish to move that into evidence?
Yes, Your Honor.
Any objection, counsel?
No, Your Honor, thank you.
Exhibit 1 is admitted. You may proceed.
Thank you. I'd like to proceed now with a summary of the case. The board issued LVN license number 170435 to petitioner on December 15, 1994. On February 6, 2012, an accusation was filed. The accusation was based on the following 5 convictions, which the ALJ found were substantially related to the qualifications of a licensed vocational nurse. The first conviction is as follows. On March 14, 2008, Ms. Cordova was convicted following her plea of no contest to a violation of Penal Code Section 647, Subdivision F, for disorderly conduct by intoxication of drugs and/or alcohol, a misdemeanor. The circumstances of that crime are that on or about January 15, 2008, police officers investigated Ms. Cordova for an alleged child custody dispute. Officers asked the child's father to take custody of the child. As the father and son were about to leave, Ms. Cordova began pulling her son away, refused to comply with officers' instructions, and displayed objective signs of alcohol intoxication. The second conviction is as follows. On October...
I'm sorry, counsel, to interrupt you. There's some noise from the adjoining conference room, so if you wouldn't mind speaking up, I think the board would find that helpful.
Not a problem.
Thank you.
The second conviction is as follows. On October 20th, 2004, Ms. Cordova was convicted following her plea of no contest to a violation of Health and Safety Code Section 11377, subsection A, possession of a controlled substance, specifically methamphetamine, a misdemeanor. The circumstances of that crime are that on or about October 18th, 2004, during a routine traffic stop, officers stopped a vehicle in which Ms. Cordova was a rear passenger. Officers discovered there was a warrant for Ms. Cordova's arrest, and upon conducting a search of the vehicle, officers discovered for Ms. Cordova a small Ziploc baggie containing methamphetamine. This case was expunged. The third conviction is as follows. On August 12, 2004, Ms. Cordova was convicted following her plea of no contest to 3 crimes. First, violation of Penal Code Section 422 for criminal threats, a misdemeanor. Second, Health and Safety Code Section 11364 for possession of a controlled substance paraphernalia, a misdemeanor. And third, Penal Code Section 476 for fraudulent checks, a misdemeanor. The circumstances of that crime are that on or about July 7, 2004, Ms. Cordova walked into a bar and threatened to kill and harm a bartender. Pursuant to the complaint of that bartender, officers eventually made contact with Ms. Cordova on August 5, 2004, at a liquor store. During the detention, officers searched Ms. Cordova's purse and found a hypodermic needle and 4 checks later identified as stolen and forged. This case was dismissed and expunged. The fourth conviction is as follows. On July 30th, 2004, Ms. Cordova was convicted following her guilty plea to 2 crimes. First, Penal Code Section 459 for burglary, a misdemeanor. And second, Penal Code Section 470, subsection D for forged checks, also a misdemeanor. The circumstances of that crime are that on or about July 28th, 2004, Ms. Cordova entered a building in the city of Hemet with the intent to commit theft and a felony. Ms. Cordova also forged or counterfeited a check in the amount of $386.24. This case was dismissed. The fifth and last conviction is that on April 11th, 2000, Ms. Cordova was convicted following her plea of no contest to a violation of Vehicle Code Section 23152, subsection B, driving a vehicle with 0.08% or higher blood alcohol, a misdemeanor. The circumstances of that crime are that on or about February 25, 2000, an officer was dispatched to a traffic collision in Southgate. Upon arrival, officers identified Ms. Cordova as the driver of a vehicle that rear-ended another vehicle. Ms. Cordova admitted to, quote, driving recklessly and, quote, drinking Bacardi. She was uncooperative and exhibited objective signs of intoxication. That case was dismissed. Based on the aforementioned circumstances, the administrative law judge found that Ms. Cordova violated Business and Professions Code sections 2878 subsection A and 2878.5 subsection A for unprofessional conduct by way of possession of methamphetamine. The ALJ also found that Ms. Cordova violated Business and Professions Code sections 2878 subsection A and 2878.5 subsection B for unprofessional conduct by way of use of a controlled substance or dangerous drug and alcoholic beverages to an extent or in a manner dangerous or injurious to herself, others, or the public. The ALJ also found that Ms. Cordova violated Business and Professions Code sections 2878 subsection A and 2878.5 subsection C for unprofessional conduct because she had been convicted of a crime involving the possession of a narcotic or dangerous drug. The ALJ also found that Ms. Cordova violated Business and Professions Code section 2878 subsection J for unprofessional conduct because she committed an act involving dishonesty, and that act was deemed related to the duties and functions of the license. Finally, the ALJ found that Ms. Cordova violated Business and Professions Code section 2878 subsection E for unprofessional conduct by way of making a false statement in connection with the application for issuance of a license. On June 20th, 2006, in a license renewal application submitted to the board and signed under penalty of perjury, Ms. Cordova indicated she had not been convicted of any crimes since her last renewal. And then again, on December 14th, 2009, in another license renewal application submitted to the board and signed under penalty of perjury, Ms. Cordova indicated she had not been convicted of any crimes, again, since her last renewal. On May 9th, 2013, a default decision was adopted by the board, and on June 8th, 2013, Ms. Cordova's license was revoked. No costs were ordered. On September 29, 2016, Ms. Cordova submitted her petition for reinstatement. She indicated in her petition that she meets the board's criteria for rehabilitation. She takes complete responsibility for her misconduct and understands that her past decisions and lack of judgment resulted from her abuse and addiction to alcohol. She indicated that she attended 3 different Alcoholics Anonymous group meetings 4 to 5 times a week, has both a sponsor and a sponsee, and has maintained sobriety since January 4th, 2013.
I'm
She
sorry,
claims she has
what was that date, Council?
January 4th, 2013.
Thank you.
Ms. Cordova claims that she has learned mechanisms for coping with her addiction, and she continues to do the 12-step program, attend Alcoholics Anonymous women's events, as well as other rehabilitation events. Ms. Cordova participated in a rehabilitation program called Southern California Alcohol Drug Programs, Inc., on an outpatient basis from February 4th to February 2013 to February 4th, 2014. According to her counselor, as of January 2016, Ms. Cordova had participated in 262 educational courses, 40 individual therapy sessions, and 303 AA meetings. She underwent 52 drug tests, and all were negative for mind-altering substances. Ms. Cordova is currently employed as an office manager at California Upholstery, a family business, where she began working in May 2014. Prior to working there, she worked at Medix, MEDIX, Staffing Solutions from March 2011 to April 2012. She indicated in her petition that it was a seasonal position and lost the job because she was unable to stay sober. Ms. Cordova has completed 100 hours based on her petition of continuing education coursework between May 2016 and June 2016. She has taken parenting training courses and has regained custody of her son. On June 22, 2016, Ms. Cordova underwent a psychological evaluation by licensed psychologist Dr. Charles Kodimer, Kodimer, who specializes in neuropsychology, disability, and chemical dependency. Dr. Cotimer found that Ms. Cordova had a history and diagnosis of chemical dependency for several years leading up to her revocation. He evaluated Ms. Cordova based on prior assessments he has conducted on behalf of this board and found that her chemical dependency is in complete remission and that she is capable of performing the functions of a licensed vocational nurse. Ms. Cordova did disclose in her petition a subsequent conviction. On or around October 2nd, 2012, Ms. Cordova was convicted for grand theft auto. She indicates in her petition that her probation was terminated early and the case expunged on May 22nd, 2016. Upon completion of probation, the court dismissed count 1 per Penal Code 1203.4 and reduced it to a misdemeanor. Finally, Ms. Cordova has provided 14 letters of recommendation from colleagues in Alcoholics Anonymous and family members in support of her petition for reinstatement. Ms. Cordova has indicated in her petition that she wishes to return to the profession that gives her great satisfaction and claims that her participation has allowed her to become more aware of her feelings and needs, to become more able to express them with her peer and support group and develop intimate friends that she can count on. And at this time, Your Honor, I am ready to proceed with questions unless the petitioner would like to make an opening statement.
Mr. Harris.
Yes, thank you, Your Honor. Madam President, members of the board, if I may, I'd like to take a moment to thank you for your time today. Ms. Cordova and I understand the very important role you play in regulating vocational nursing and psychiatric technicians and in protecting the public. Ms. Cordova comes before you very humbled by her past, but she has spent the last 4 years gaining a footing under herself that allows her an internal love, something that she will tell you she did not have during the course of the convictions that she received from 2000 through 2012. She will openly admit to her addiction to alcohol and to drugs and how it ravaged her life at the time. But over the last 4 years, she has spent her time in Alcoholics Anonymous, as you've heard from the Deputy Attorney General, becoming a sponsee and sponsor, someone who has undergone significant counseling, self-growth, and learning to be a good parent, someone who works diligently within her family's business, and someone who wants to show you that she not only meets your criterion for rehabilitation, but is safe and competent to be a vocational nurse once again. I think that you will find someone who is humbled and ready to share her experiences, not only with you, but the students behind me, and with patients in the future, and that she will be a very valuable member of your community. We hope that at the end of this presentation, you will find it appropriate to reinstate her vocational nurse license. And again, we thank you here today and hope that you may have questions for Ms. Cordova. Thank you.
Does Ms. Cordova wish to testify at this time?
She does, Your Honor. Thank you.
Okay, please raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm that your testimony in this proceeding will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I affirm.
Thank you. State your full name.
Graciela Cordova.
You may proceed, Ms. Cordova.
Your Honor, if I may do question and answer.
All right. You're just going to respond to questions from the Deputy Attorney General and the board members, is that correct?
Actually, what I was going to propose, Your Honor, is that I may ask a few questions and that Ms. Cordova answer some questions as opposed to testify on the narrative.
We are all on the same page now. Go ahead.
Thank you very much, Your Honor. Good morning, Ms. Cordova.
Good morning.
You have heard from the Deputy Attorney General a list of convictions that you suffered between 2000 and 2012. Is that right?
Yes, I have.
Do you take responsibility for those convictions?
Most definitely. I'm very remorseful. It's been a humbling experience, and I do apologize for my reckless behavior.
To what do you generally attribute those convictions?
From the history of alcoholism, I started drinking when I graduated from high school, and my alcoholism progressed, and it caused me a lot of hardship. It caused a lot of torment in my family, and it just ruled my life for many, many years.
Did your alcoholism also lead you to use or abuse controlled substances?
As well, I did.
And what was that controlled substance?
It was methamphetamine.
At the time that you committed the crimes that led to your conviction, were you under the influence?
All my crimes that I committed, I was always intoxicated or under the influence of addiction.
When did you become sober?
I became sober January the 4th, 2013, when I landed in jail for the last time.
And for what crime did you land in jail?
The Grand Theft Auto in 2012.
Is that the conviction that you suffered after the revocation of your LVN license?
Yes, it is. I was driving a vehicle. I knew it was stolen, and I fully take responsibility for my actions on that day.
What was it that landing in jail, what was it with landing in jail that impacted you to become sober?
Well, I was tired of being tired. I had nothing to my name. I had lost my driver's license. I had lost my nursing license. I had lost my family. I had lost custody of my small child at the time, which was 5. And I just surrendered. I completely surrendered to the fact that I just couldn't do it. I couldn't live that way anymore. Alcoholism had taken its toll, and I was completely done. I had nowhere to turn but Alcoholics Anonymous.
Have you embraced Alcoholics Anonymous?
Most definitely. Alcoholics Anonymous has given me a new life. It has, on a daily basis, it's a reminder of the person that I used to be, which I'm no longer. It has given me principles. Each step teaches you different principles that teaches you techniques on a daily basis on how to live your life, how to go through the ups and downs without retrieving to alcohol.
In addition to Alcoholics Anonymous, did you participate in a rehabilitation program?
Yes, I did. At the time, I was looking for a place to live. I couldn't find an apartment. One just happened to open up right next to the recovery program that I was attending, and I was able to be there on time and be there with my counselors, and it was probably the best thing I could have done to get an apartment right next to the recovery program.
Did you complete that program?
Yes, I did.
In addition to Alcoholics Anonymous and the recovery program, have you sought individual counseling?
Yes, I have.
Do you recall the last time that you sought individual counseling?
Just recently, in the month of March and April, for a couple of months, I sought help with a counselor, with a psychological help. I was going through a breakup, and I just needed a little bit of reinforcing and guidance, and I looked for help, additional help for that.
You indicated that you had previously lost custody of your son. Do you now have custody of him?
Yes, I do.
And how old is he?
He's 11 years old. He just started middle school.
You previously testified that your alcoholism had destroyed your relationship with your family. Can you please talk to the board about your family history now?
My family has always showed me unconditional love. My father was there, always supportive. My mother was the one that got the worst of it. She would worry for me. She would come look for me. And till this day, she is my prayer warrior. She's prayed me into the rooms and in recovery, and she's here with me today, and I appreciate her and everything that she does for me.
What have you done for employment over the last 4 years?
After I did my 1-year outpatient recovery, I went to a job club for a month to try to find a job. I had a felony that I had not expunged or wasn't time for expungement, and I couldn't find a job. My father has an upholstery business that's pretty successful, and while he was going on vacation, he asked me if I could come help him, and I've stayed on ever since, and now my job duties are for the operation of the business. All the clients go through me, and my brother works there as well.
In addition to working, do you continue to go to Alcoholics Anonymous?
Most definitely. I've learned early in my recovery that Alcoholics Anonymous had to be my priority. Without that, I have not able to be there for my family, not able to be there for my 11-year-old, and I always put my program first.
Since your conviction in 2012, have you had any other arrests?
No, I have not.
Have you been disciplined by any other state agency?
No, I haven't.
Have you been terminated from any type of employment?
No.
Can you please tell the board members why you would like to have your LVN license reinstated?
It's taken me a while to get here. I know that. I know that recovery is a process. I didn't know what it took prior to that. I know that I'm not the same person that I used to be. Nursing has always been a passion of mine. I just have a big heart. I like to help others, and I think with the history that I've had with the recovery, with my story, I'm able to utilize it with the patients, and my plan, I would like to be working in a detox center, helping someone else with my experience.
Can you please tell the board members what tools and resources you believe that you have at your disposal in order to ensure that you don't relapse to alcoholism or drug abuse?
The biggest resource I have is Alcoholics Anonymous. There's quite a bit of membership in the meetings that I go attend to. I have my sponsor that I call on. I have the church family where I'm a member at and I attend regularly. And I have my mother and father and my siblings that support me. None of my family drinks, so that's a great support for me. And I always have the community resources that I know where to find them and utilize them.
You indicated that you have a sponsor. What is her name?
Her name is Carmen.
And did she write a letter on your behalf?
She did. Carmen has worked with me since the beginning of my sobriety. We've gone through the 12 steps of Alcoholics Anonymous, and we continue meeting on a every other week basis in her home. My sponsor has become ill, and she wasn't able to be here, but she wanted to be here.
And for the board's information, the letter from Ms. DeSatis is at A58. The Deputy Attorney General alluded to the fact that you underwent a psychological evaluation. Is that correct?
Yes, I did.
And was that with Dr. Charles Cotimer?
Yes,
Were you open and honest with Dr. Cotimer as he evaluated you?
most definitely.
For your reference, members of the board, the evaluation of Dr. Cotimer is it starts at A74. Lastly, Ms. Cordova, can you tell the board what assurances they have that you can safely be licensed as an LVN in the state of California once again?
The assurance that I have is my past. My past, my darkest past, is my greatest asset that I have. That I know that what I've done and who I was at the time, I'm no longer that person. My greatest asset is that I have the support of a community of Alcoholics Anonymous, and that I'm able and have learned to utilize those tools. And that I do a program on a daily basis, and I stay sober on a daily basis.
Thank you. I have no further questions.
Thank you very much. Ms. Cho, any questions?
Mr. Harris has covered pretty much everything. I do have one question just for purposes of clarifying the record. Page A86 is a letter that was dated, or that's dated June 1st, 2016, and it appears from the content of the letter that it was written by Ms. Cordova's sister, but I can't make out the name and it's not printed anywhere. Would you just mind telling me what that name is?
It's Linda Camacho.
Got it. And Camacho is C-A-M-A-C-H-O?
Yes, it is.
Got it. Thank you. No further questions.
Okay, thank you very much. And now I will ask the board members whether they have any questions. We can start on the far left.
No questions.
No questions, Your Honor.
No questions.
Good morning.
Good morning.
And if you do have a question, I'll ask that you state your name for the record.
Yes. Bernice Basti Martinez, public member. You were describing what makes you different now, as well as what you use for your strength. Have you been challenged since your date of sobriety? And can you give us kind of a summary? You don't have to be detailed, but what you did and the timing, how quickly did it take you to recognize you were being challenged?
Okay. Early in my sobriety, I believe I had 3 months of abstinence. Old behaviors are hard to stop at first. The cravings are strong. The obsession to drink had lifted, but I still had the cravings. And I remember picking up the phone and telling somebody, I got a drink and I'm ready to drink it. What do I do? And that person was able to guide me, and I tossed it in the toilet. And there's also a reading in the Alcoholics Anonymous that says, to your innermost self, be truthful. And that day, at that moment, it was changing for me, because that's not what I wanted. I did not want the drink. The craving was there, but it passed. With the right tools, I was able to pick up the phone and talk to another member, and guided me through that day. And it forever has changed my life.
Thank you.
Any questions?
No questions.
Ken Maxey, public member. Ms. Cordova, number one, congratulations on the years of sobriety.
Thank you.
It seems like you've had a windy road to go through. And a lot of us go through these roads, and sometimes we just continue to go without really reaching a point of understanding that we need to stop and reach out to someone. And it seems like you have family and friends that are supportive of you. If you were reinstated, would you be open to random drug tests and alcohol tests to ensure that the comfort level of the entity that would be bringing you on would feel comfortable with bringing you on?
Most definitely. I'm ready to do whatever conditions the board sees fit.
Morning.
Good morning.
Samantha James Perez. I have a couple questions for you. If I'm reading this correctly, it looks like your revocation was a default, meaning that it was sent to you and you didn't respond, so your license was automatically revoked. Why didn't you respond to the default? I mean, why didn't you respond to the accusation that was sent to you? I'm sorry.
Actually, I took a step to proceed to do that.
Mm-hmm.
I sought help with Scott, and at the time we were going to present a defense, but I couldn't stay sober. I had 18 months of sobriety and I relapsed.
That was in 2013 when you
Yes,
first got the accusation?
in 2012.
So you were still struggling, is what you're saying.
Is that it? You answer verbally, please.
Yes, I was still struggling. I had just gotten a relapse.
Okay. And then I do see that you've included a list of all your CEUs that you've done and your meeting sheets, so that's appreciated.
Thank you.
We have all this. I have a question about, on page A16, it looks like you received counseling with Ms. Jessica Taylor in Santa Fe Springs. During that time of counseling with Ms. Taylor, did you learn anything that would make you become a better nurse if we reinstate your license?
This counseling session was very short.
Okay.
It was more of a group session,
Okay.
but at the time there was only 2 of us. And what I learned most is that there's support. You're not alone. You have other people that are going through the same situation or similar, and you're able to use each other as support.
And that ties in perfectly with my next question. On page 826 is a letter or some answers to the board that you wrote in narrative form. And in the third paragraph, it says, each step of the program teaches me coping mechanisms. Could you tell me just one or two of what these coping mechanisms are that you've acquired?
The first step of Alcoholics Anonymous, there's this principle in every step. The first step is hope. In my life, I have hope that things are going to get better, hope that someone's going to, any challenge that I go through, there's always hope. The second one is faith. You have to have faith of someone else beyond yourself that is looking out for you. And every step teaches you a different principle. There's hope, there's faith, there's integrity, and that's it.
Because if your license is reinstated and you begin working as a nurse again, I'm sure you know that it can be very stressful.
Yes.
The nursing field can be very stressful. So you go to work, there's a lot of demands, you're short-staffed, the high acuity on the unit. You're stressed out. What do you do? What do you do instead of drink? What coping mechanisms do you use?
Just take the time to assess, to reassure yourself that it's okay and there's resources out there.
Okay, thank you.
I have no questions.
Cheryl Turner, public member. I see you've taken full advantage of your right to expunge and clear your record under Penal Code 1203.4. That goes a long way to helping you move forward. But I just want you to understand and make sure you understand the importance that when the board contacts you to be able to respond and not allow it to go into default. Because as you know, things might end up worse if you don't respond and provide a defense. And you understand that now, right?
Yes, I do.
Okay. Now, I wasn't clear. Have you had any relapses, the abuse of alcohol or meth within the last, say, 3 or 4 years?
No, I haven't. I've been sober for 4 years and 8 months now.
All right, no further questions.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. Anything else from you, Ms. Cho?
No, Your Honor.
All right. Anything else before the matter is submitted, counsel?
No further questions, Your Honor. We may make a brief closing.
Go ahead.
Madam President, Your Honor, members of the board, once again, thank you very much for your time. I think what you have seen today is someone who is on a continued path of rehabilitation. It is never ending for someone like Ms. Cordova, but she sits here taking responsibility for her past and using that past to guide her future. I think that what you will have found is a complete packet of rehabilitation under your California Code of Regulations, which outlines the necessity for expungement of crimes, the taking of responsibility, sobriety, support in the community, and throughout the packet, that is exactly what you will have found. We thank you again and hope that you will find it acceptable and appropriate to issue a license to Ms. Cordova.
Thank you very much. With that, the matter is submitted. The record is closed, and we'll go off the record. Thank you. And the next matter will be that of Danielle Davis. Ms. Davis, why don't you step to the table? All right, let's go on the record in the matter of the petition for reinstatement of revoked license filed by Danielle Davis, bearing OAH number 2017-080678. Today is August 24, 2017. My name is Howard Cohen. I'm an administrative law judge with the Office of Administrative Hearings. I've been assigned to sit with the board today to hear this petition. Could I take appearances, please?
Good morning, Your Honor, members of the board. Vivian Cho, Deputy Attorney General, appearing on behalf of the people of the state of California pursuant to Business and Professions Code Section 2878.7 and Government Code Section 11522.
Good morning. And your name?
Danielle Davis.
Good morning. There is a quorum of the board. Ms. Davis, Did you hear the instructions that I gave to the first party today?
Yes, I did.
Did you understand those instructions?
Yes, I did.
Okay, then we will proceed. Ms. Cho, you may go ahead.
I would first like to mark for identification and offer into evidence as Exhibit 1, the original petition packet with accompanying documents. I believe the board members and the petitioner have been provided a copy of the same. Exhibit 1 consists of the following. Exhibit A is petition for reinstatement and supporting documents. Exhibit B is the license certification. Exhibit C is the notice of hearing and related correspondence, and Exhibit D is the 2013 board decision.
Okay, that petition packet is marked for identification as Exhibit 1. Did you wish to move that into evidence?
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you have any objection to my receiving that as evidence?
No, I don't.
Okay, Exhibit 1 is admitted. Go ahead, Ms. Cho.
I would like to offer a brief summary of the case. On May 20th, 2014, the board issued vocational nurse license number 209310. On October 27th, 2011, an accusation was filed. The accusation was based on the following conviction, which the ALJ found was substantially related to the qualifications of a licensed vocational nurse. On September 15th, 2009, Ms. Davis was convicted following her plea of no contest to a violation of Penal Code Section 182, subsection A1, for conspiracy to commit a crime, a felony. The circumstances of the crime are that on or about March 8th, 2008, when Ms. Davis visited her husband in Corcoran State Prison with her 5-year-old son, she entered the prison visitor center with 2 plastic bindles of 30.30 grams of marijuana concealed on her person. Prior to this date, prison correctional officers recorded a telephone conversation between Ms. Davis and her husband, during which they conspired to smuggle drugs into the prison. Correctional officers obtained a search warrant and searched Ms. Davis when she entered the prison facility. During a full-body search of Ms. Davis, the officers found the plastic bindles. Child Protective Custody was given custody of Ms. Davis' son. Imposition of the sentence was suspended, and Ms. Davis was placed on formal probation for 5 years on terms and conditions. Based on the aforementioned circumstances, the ALJ found that Ms. Davis violated Business and Professions Code Sections 2878 subsection A and 2878.5 subsection A for committing acts of unprofessional conduct and dishonesty by way of illegal possession of a controlled substance. For purposes of disciplinary considerations, the accusation also indicated that on or about August 2nd, 1994, Ms. Davis pled guilty and was convicted of one misdemeanor count of violating Penal Code Section 459 arising from burglary at a Mervyn's department store. On May 6, 2013, the proposed decision was adopted by the board. Ms. Davis was ordered to reimburse the board the sum of $3,192.50 for costs of investigation and recovery of this matter upon reinstatement. On June 5, 2013, Ms. Davis's license was revoked. On or about November 14, 2016, Ms. Davis submitted her petition for reinstatement. She indicated that she has worked very hard to obtain her vocational nursing license, and explained that while she was in school, her mother was unfortunately killed, causing her to drop out of school for 3 weeks. She claims she returned to school and kept going with the support of her classmates and family. She also added that she has wanted to be a nurse since she was a small child, and this is her passion. Ms. Davis states that she has matured since the incident, which took place 9 years ago, and she has learned a valuable lesson. Ms. Davis also states that she has learned that a professional must always remain professional at all times and must be careful with whom they socialize and carry on personal relationships with. She claims she will never put a man before her children. With regard to her employment, Ms. Davis explains that she has struggled to find a permanent job and to pay her bills. She is currently unemployed as of the time of the submission of her petition. Following the revocation of her license, she did hold 2 jobs. One is a vault monitor at Adecco, ADECCO, where she kept inventory of credit cards and stocking, and another at Walmart, where she was responsible for stocking food supplies. She was laid off from both jobs. Ms. Davis has completed 10 hours of diabetes pharmacology and 164 hours of through the nursing assistant program provided by Pathways College. Ms. Davis has also read, a book entitled Fundamentals of Nursing, written by Carol Taylor. She has also indicated in her petition that her plan is to continue her education in nursing to become a registered nurse. Ms. Davis also indicated in her petition that she attends Greater Life Ministries Church and has volunteered at Corona-Norco Unified School of Eleanor Roosevelt High School, where she volunteers for a senior citizen bingo night. And she did that from October 1st, 2014 to October 1st, 2015. Ms. Davis also provided 4 reference letters from her pastor, prior supervisor, and colleagues in support of her petition for reinstatement. Your Honor, at this time, I'm prepared to proceed with questions for Ms. Davis unless you would like to make an opening statement.
Thank you. All right, Ms. Davis, this is your opportunity to address the board. Would you please raise your right hand? Do you swear or affirm that your testimony in this proceeding will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you very much. You may proceed.
I just want the board to know that I know that it was a mistake that I made. I have learned a lot since that mistake. I learned a lot about myself. I learned that, I'm sorry, I'm nervous. I learned that the person who I was then, I was very unprofessional. I was irresponsible back then. Since then, I'm older now, I'm more responsible, and everything I do is about my kids, and for my kids, and about my career. This is my son here, by the way. And I don't know, that's it. I don't know what else.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Cho, any questions?
Your Honor, I do have a couple.
Go ahead.
Ms. Davis, thanks for being here. Since your conviction in September 2009, are there any subsequent arrests or convictions since that time that the board should be aware of?
No.
Ms. Davis, you also identified that the individual sitting next to you is your son, correct?
Correct.
You lost custody of him following the 2009 conviction, correct?
Correct.
And have you regained custody of your son?
Yes, I have.
Do you have full custody of your son?
I do.
And I know you've had some trouble securing jobs. Following your job at Adecco, have you attempted to secure any other employment?
Right now, I'm working as a certified nurse assistant in a long-term care facility.
I'm sorry, could you repeat that? Certified
nurse assistant.
Oh. And who is your employer?
Sunnyside Rehab Center.
And how long have you held that position?
5 months now.
And when you applied for that job, did you have to disclose your conviction?
No, I got it expunged, so I don't have to disclose it. That's what I was told.
Got it, thank you. That's all, Your Honor.
Okay, I'll ask the board members whether they have any questions. We can start at the right this time.
Thank you. Cheryl Turner, public member. So although this was a charge that happened a while ago, it did involve the transportation of a small quantity of illegal substance or drugs. If you're reinstated, obviously you will be exposed to and have access to medications for the patients. Could you tell us how it is that we will be able to trust you to not take advantage of that situation?
Well, what I did it for my husband. I don't have any involvement with drugs. I'm able to be trusted around drugs. It was just he asked me to do it, and back then I was so vulnerable and did anything that he asked me to do, and I should have never did it, but I did, and I'm trustworthy.
So it was just that one time, right?
Yes.
That was it. Okay, thank you.
Alita Carpenter, public member. Are you still married to this husband?
No, I'm separated.
Thank you.
Good morning. Samantha James Perez. I heard you say that you're now working as a CNA.
Yes.
So you did get certified?
I
as a
did.
nurse. Did the Public Health Board know that you have revoked VN?
Yes, they
Oh,
did know. I
and they
told them I
still-
had to disclose it.
Okay, and they still certified you?
Yes.
Okay. I had one question similar to Ms. Turner. Your conviction did involve drugs.
Correct.
But then in your packet, I didn't see any evidence, any report of rehabilitation or AA or NA. So you're saying you yourself don't have a drug problem?
No, I do not.
Okay. So no substance abuse problem at all on your own?
No.
And then my question is, since the conviction, so since 2009, what has changed in your life that makes you different, that you wouldn't do such a thing again?
I'm just more mature now. The decisions that I made back then, I just was naive back then, and now that I'm older, I just look at life different, and the decisions that I made then I just look at it like that was silly what I did. Like, I can't even believe that I even did it. And right now, it's just all about my kids.
And you spent some time incarcerated?
I did.
Okay. Did you learn anything while you were incarcerated that would make you a better person or a better nurse?
Well, yes. I mean, I learned that you have to be a professional at all times. When you become a professional, you have to remain professional. You cannot just go out acting like other people.
That's true. You are a nurse 24/7.
Right.
Okay. Thank you.
Good morning, Ms. Davis. Ken Maxey, public member. Thank you for your comments. Do you have a mentor that is a nurse that you look up to? And if you do, what role does that person play in your life, and how have they inspired you to take some positive steps?
Well, my former coworker, Kiara, we have the same, our kids are the same age, and I just look at her, how she went to school while we were we worked at USC as nurses, and she went on and did her registered nurse, and just her struggles in life as well, and I just look up to her. She's just a role model to me. She is.
That's all my questions.
Thank you.
No questions. Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you?
Fine, and you?
Fine. You clearly, I'm sure you understand our concern that this kind of incident will never happen again. And so often we can be influenced or convinced by others that if we help them, and it's all about them,
Right.
that everything will be good for us. You just shared that you do have someone you emulate, that you look up to. What are you using, or what are you thinking, or what are you doing to ensure you will be your own person?
Well, I have my pastor also. I'm an active member in church. I'm the church secretary. I have my pastor, I have my children, my family. I have everyone supporting me. And I just know that I'm not going to be influenced by anyone again. That hurted my family, my kids, my career. It was just a bad experience for me.
Thank you.
Yeah, hi, good morning. I have a question. My name is Paul Sellers. Good morning.
Good morning.
So, my question is this. You stated that the incident was predicated by a loss in your family. I'm sorry for that. As you know, working as an LVN or a psych tech, you will find yourself under tremendously stressful situations at times. Can Can you describe any therapy or any classes, anything you've taken? Is there anything besides the passage of time that has changed that you can point to help you to work under stressful circumstances?
No, I just pray. That's all I do. I just pray. I leave it in the hands of God and I pray.
Thank you.
I have no questions, Your Honor.
Good morning. Donna Norton, LVN member. I just have a couple of follow-up questions. You said you're separated from your husband. You were not divorced?
No, I haven't had the money. That's why I haven't got a divorce. But I no longer speak to him.
Okay. The pastor that you said that you go to church and you have your pastor, is that the same pastor that wrote a letter for you?
Yes, it is.
Okay. Does your pastor know why your license was revoked?
Do he know what?
Does he know your past? Because
Yes,
he
he
doesn't
does.
reference it in the letter.
Yeah, he knows my past.
He knows your past. So I have a concern, as I'm sure, I think the temperature of the board is we all have the same concern, right? That you yourself were not under the influence of anything. So that was a conscious, logical choice that you made. It wasn't because you were intoxicated. It wasn't because you were under taking drugs. It wasn't because you were abused. It was just a conscious choice that you made to do that. So can you explain to me now, and you haven't been able to really articulate how you've changed. You've just said it's been with a passage of time and that you pray, and while I respect that, I need something more. So can you explain to me what was wrong with what you did?
Well, I broke the law, for one. I broke the law. I knew it was wrong, but because I was so influenced by this person, I was in love, blinded by love with this person, he asked me to bring those drugs in the prison ground for him. I didn't think, honestly. I wasn't thinking. I didn't think till I was arrested in that jail cell. And then that's when I thought, what were you thinking? Why did you do that? And it was already too late. I was arrested. I was there for 14 months. And all I could do was think how I hurted my kids, my career, my family, just everything. There was nothing else I could do. But no, I know that what I did was wrong. I am very remorseful for it, and I don't know. I said I'm changed as a person because I'm more mature now. I think before I do. I don't just make decisions. Even with jobs and shifts, I have to make sure it's accommodating for my children.
So besides breaking the law, what was wrong with what you did? What was the effect of
The
what you
effect
did?
was that I lost my license, I lost my kids. I lost everything. I lost my whole entire life. Everything was ruined because of this person and because of the decision I made. I can't blame it all on him because I chose to make that decision.
Are you in a relationship now with anyone?
No, I'm not.
Have you had any relationships?
No.
No. Thank you.
Ms. Cho, anything else?
No further questions, Your Honor.
Okay. And Ms. Davis, anything else?
No, if I am granted reinstatement, will I have to take the test over? I wasn't sure. You know,
The board will consider, and if they will consider what conditions your probation will entail if they put you back and reinstate your license, and that will be apparent in the written decision.
Okay.
Okay. Anything else?
No.
All right, then the matter is submitted, the record is closed, and let's go off the record. Thank you.
Thank you.
next matter will be Gina Sanchez. Please step to the table. Ms. Sanchez.
Sanchez?
Well, no, we're going to take Ms. Sanchez and then go on the record first. Oh, she is. Ms. Sanchez?
Hello?
All right, we're going to go on the record. Let's have some quiet in the room. Thank you very much. All right, let's go on the record in the matter of the petition for reinstatement of revoked license filed by Gina Sanchez, OAH case number 2017-080747. Today is August 24, 2017. My name is Howard Cohen. I'm an administrative law judge with the Office of Administrative Hearings. I've been assigned to sit with the Board of Vocational Nursing and Psychiatric Technicians to hear your petition today. May I take appearances for the record?
Good morning, Your Honor. Deputy Attorney General Christine Lee, appearing on behalf of the people of the state of California pursuant to Business and Professions Code 2878.7 and Government Code Section 11522.
Good morning. Would you state your name, please?
Gina Sanchez.
Okay, and you're representing yourself here today,
I am
correct?
today, yes.
Okay, and there is a quorum of the board. Ms. Sanchez, I provided instructions during the first hearing this morning. Did you hear those instructions?
I did not.
You did not. Okay, let me repeat them.
Okay.
The burden of proof is on you to establish that you're entitled to the relief you're seeking in your petition.
Okay.
The Deputy Attorney General will offer jurisdictional documents, including the petition and all documents that you offered in support of the petition. The Deputy Attorney General will then make a presentation. You may then testify. The Deputy Attorney General may have questions for you.
Okay.
The board members may ask individually questions of you.
Okay.
And you may answer those. You'll be under oath. And then, if you wish, you may make a very brief closing statement at the end.
Okay.
After all of the evidence has been heard, the board will meet in closed session later today to deliberate. And the board won't announce its decision today, but a written decision will be issued within a few weeks and be mailed to you.
Okay, great.
Okay, you understand all of that?
I do.
Very well. All right, Ms. Lee.
Thank you, Your Honor. At this time, I'd like to mark for identification and offer into evidence as Exhibit 1 the original petition packet and accompanying documents. The board members and petitioner have been provided a copy of the same set. The documents consist of the following: the petition for reinstatement and supporting documents, license certification, the notice of hearing and related correspondence, the 2010 board decision, and the 2015 board decision. At this time, Your Honor, I'd like to offer into evidence Exhibit 1.
Okay, the petition packet is marked for identification as Exhibit 1. Ms. Sanchez, do you have any objection to our receiving that in evidence?
I do not.
Okay, Exhibit 1 is admitted.
At this time, Your Honor, I'd like to make a brief summary of petitioner's history with the board. The petitioner was issued a license with the board on June 8th, 2005. Said license expired on June 30th, 2011. On or about April 15th, 2009, the petitioner was convicted of violating Health and Safety Code Section 11550, Subdivision A, use or being under the influence of a controlled substance, in this case, methamphetamines. The court sentenced petitioner to 120 days in jail and placed her on probation for 3 years. On or about July 9th, 2010, an accusation was filed. On or about September 22nd, 2010, a default decision was adopted by the board. On or about October 22nd, 2010, petitioner's license was revoked. On or about June 16, 2014, the petitioner filed a petition for reinstatement. On or about April 23, 2015, said petition was denied. March 15, 2017, the board received petitioner's petition for reinstatement for this hearing. Petitioner represents that she currently attends Lakota Rehabilitation Program in Santa Fe Springs and is committed to re-entering the field of nursing. She is currently self-employed and represents that she has learned a lot since her arrest and is now prepared to answer any questions that the board may have regarding her history.
Thank you very much. Ms. Sanchez, do you have any documents that you wish the board to consider besides those that were offered in support of your petition?
I do have, no, I do not.
Okay, very well. Would you raise your right hand, please?
Yes, I will.
Do you swear or affirm that your testimony in this proceeding will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, I do.
Thank you. State your name.
Gina Sanchez.
Ms. Sanchez, you may proceed to tell the board why you believe your license should be reinstated.
I have taken the time to rehabilitate myself, and at the time that it went into default, I was in a behavioral science home. I put myself in there after getting divorced and my first time of arrest, which was 2007. I was arrested that night with my daughter's father, and he shortly thereafter died of an overdose. So, sorry. So I have learned to choose my company a little bit better, but at the same time, instead of putting myself in a home and trying to get away from him and trying to get away from different people, I should have helped him. I should have tried to help him instead of joining in with him and doing things that I shouldn't have been doing. You know, I should have tried to help him. Sorry.
That's okay. Take your time.
Next question, please. So sorry.
That's okay. If there's nothing else you wish to say right now, the Deputy Attorney General and the board members will ask you questions.
Okay, I just want to make it clear that I was in a home at that time when it came into default. I did not get the paperwork on that. I got that late. There was a certified mail that went to my mom's house, and my daughter gave that to me late. But I was in the house at that time. It was Allen House in Santa Fe Springs. My counselor's name was Richard Page, and they were supposed to fax something over to you guys. I don't know if you got it, because they won't give you paperwork in your hand now. So it should, you guys, I don't know if you received it or not.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Lee.
Thank you, Your Honor. Good morning, Ms. Sanchez.
Good morning.
Do you have any arrests or convictions since the revocation of your license that the board should be aware about?
Just the one that you guys know about. I was arrested I think 2009, but they called it a detainment because they did test me. I was arrested, and they drug tested me, but it was clear. It was clean. That was 2009. So they sent me a letter saying it was a detainment.
So nothing after 2009?
No, nothing.
Can you briefly describe your rehabilitation program at Lakota?
Well, I'd like to describe the one at Allen House first, which is a sister house. That was behavioral science, and it was very strict there. They were very strict.
Would you spell that, please?
Allen House, Allen.
Thank you.
That's in the city of Santa Fe Springs. That was a very structured program, extremely structured. We programmed from 6 a.m. to 10 o'clock at night, and we had to memorize 20 rules within a week. Well, they told me to memorize 20 rules within 2 weeks, so I couldn't see my children. So I memorized 20 rules in 2 weeks so I could see my kids. And so it was just a well-balanced program. The Sister House Lakota, it's an outpatient program. And so there you have counseling, domestic violence, parenting, drug education, and anger management.
And what?
Anger management.
Thank you.
How often do you attend Lakota?
Lakota, in the 3 times a week. But in the month of, I have to say, in the month of May, I broke my foot. I have the documentation here. I broke my foot. Actually, it was Yeah, I broke my foot. A piano fell on my foot. An old piano I was trying to refurbish, it fell on my foot, and it was terrible. And so in May, I was in so much pain. In my ankle. In May, I couldn't go. I couldn't attend. I tried. I couldn't attend anymore. It was just really hard for me. I did not complete that, but I'm scheduled to go back.
Do you currently also attend any AA or NA classes?
I do.
And how often do you attend?
Twice a week.
And do you have a
I would-
sponsor?
I'm sorry?
Do you have a sponsor?
I don't have one.
Since the revocation of your license, the field of vocational nursing has advanced. What have you done to keep up with the field of vocational nursing?
You know what? I wasn't aware that I could take classes still. I was unaware until recently that I could do the 30 units. I didn't know I could do any of that. I just recently found out. And to be honest with you, I have not had the funds. Even if I wanted to, I have not had the funds to do it. I mean, after I lost my license, it's been very difficult for me. Very difficult.
No further questions, Your Honor.
Okay.
Okay, I'll ask for questions from the board, starting on my left.
Good morning, Donna.
Good morning.
Gordon. I noticed in your packet, and I looked over the board's decision last time, I think,
State your name, please.
oh, I did.
Oh, did you? I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
I did, that's all
I
right.
beg your
Donna
pardon.
Norton, I'll state it again. So you petitioned for reinstatement before, and then you were a no-show at the last time.
Oh, you know what? I went there, and I didn't know, you guys, it's been very, financially, I'm going to be honest, it's been very difficult. And when I went over there, I didn't have any money on me. I just had enough for gas. I didn't know I had to pay for parking, and I couldn't find parking anywhere. And that day they were doing construction up and down the street. There was nowhere for me to park. And I called I believe it was called I think it was also called the ballroom. I'm not sure. But I did call, and I was telling them, you know, there's no parking out here, and I don't have any money for parking. And they just told me just to try to park somewhere and come in. But there was nowhere for me to park. There was nowhere. I'm just going to be honest with you guys. There was nowhere for me to park, and I had no money on me that day. It's been really bad. I'm
Okay.
sorry.
Okay, that wasn't my question.
But I did show up. I did show up there. I did go. I just couldn't get in.
Okay, so did you receive the decision that was made by the board at that
Yes, I
time?
did.
But 1 second, let me instruct you, please let the board members finish their questions before you begin answering.
Okay.
We have a court reporter sitting over there at that desk, and she can only take down one person at a time.
Okay, got
All
you.
right, thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
Did you read the decision?
I'm sorry?
Did you read the decision that was sent to you from the board
Oh, yes, I
at
did.
that time? In your packet, I noticed that there are no letters of reference in your packet today. That was one of the concerns that was in the last board decision as well.
Right.
Your sobriety date is blank.
Is it?
Yes, it just says the date you were arrested. There's no documentation. You're stating that you're going to meetings, but you don't provide us any documentation that you're actually attending these meetings.
Right.
So I'm curious, because those were the things that were highlighted in the last board decision, and you're here before us today, and those things are still lacking.
The reason why I went to Lakota is because I could not retrieve the classes that I first took. I could not retrieve them. They were in the archives, supposedly. I could not retrieve them. So when I went back, to satisfy the boards, I decided to take another class, which is Lakota. I can give you the name of the place I went to, and I did complete it, but it was so long ago. It's been a while since they allowed me to come here. Well, 2014, but I, was a no-show.
So do you attend NA?
So, yes, I do.
Do you not get, because I know in AA, they give you a little thing that says you signed in that day?
Yeah.
Do you not have any of those?
Yes, I do. Yes, I do have some of those.
You do them, but you didn't supply them.
Well, basically, what I wanted to ask the board today is, due to the fact that I cannot retrieve the information from 2000, I believe it was 2009, after taking classes, I cannot retrieve that information. So I was here to ask the boards if I could have a little bit more time to finish this class. When I broke my foot in May, I just need like 6 more months to finish that class, and then I could give you the information. That's basically why I came today, to ask for more time. I know it's been a long time, but I did do what I had to do. I did. But yes, for that class, I do have to have things signed.
Okay.
And I do have them signed. I mean, I did have them signed.
How often did you, so you were arrested for methamphetamine, is that
Yes.
correct? How often did you use meth at that time?
At that time, I was newly divorced, and after a 20-year marriage, and going back to an old crowd, which is my daughter's dad, it made me sick, actually. It makes me sick. To my stomach. It makes me sick. So I didn't use methamphetamine that long. I just did it just because, I guess because I was just free and I just wanted to, at that time I just thought, well, he was doing it, you know, like he offered it to me and I did it, but I didn't like it. I didn't like it, I don't like it. It makes me sick.
So is it your testimony then that you only used methamphetamine at one time?
Oh no, a few times.
A few times?
Yeah, thinking it was gonna be better the next time, you know, but no, it makes me sick.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, that's all the questions I have. Thank you.
Okay.
No questions.
Yes, I have a couple questions.
Okay.
Paul Sellers. So you stated that you do attend AA or NA?
NA.
Can you, it was alluded to by Member Donna. Can you specifically tell me your sobriety date?
It was June 2009, I believe.
June what?
2009.
June of 2009? Okay. Why do you choose not to have a sponsor?
I did have a sponsor, but she no longer is there.
Why haven't you found another?
Since May, I haven't been going that much because of my ankle and my foot since May.
Can you describe, besides the programs that you attended, can you tell me what your current support system is?
Oh yes, my family.
Your family?
My mom.
Your mom?
And my sister, my daughters. My daughter's an RN, and my sister's an LVN, and my niece is an LVN. And there's a lot of nurses in my family, so they're my support.
I'm sorry, why did you not turn to your family in 2009?
In a different state of mind, I guess. In a different state of mind.
Okay. That's all my questions. Thank you.
Okay.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Bernice Bastin Martinez. I want to make sure I heard you correctly.
Okay.
You mentioned at one time that you took drugs or partook because he did, referring to your husband, I believe?
No, referring to Edward Anthony Franco.
I'm sorry?
Edward Anthony Franco.
Okay.
He is my first daughter's father. I've known him since I was 15 years old. Shortly after the arrest, 2007, he passed away from a drug overdose. That was, yeah.
So to make sure I'm further understanding, was there someone else that also influenced that?
No.
And in the sequence of events after the loss, and I'm so sorry, everyone is sorry when one loses someone, and that can be very upsetting.
Thank you.
Did you continue use?
No, I did not. No, I did not.
If I'm hearing you correctly, at that time, you were influenced to use because someone in your life did use. Did I understand that right?
I can't blame him.
I'm sorry?
I can't blame anybody but myself.
Okay.
Yeah,
What do
I
you
can't-
mean by that?
Well, it was my choice at the time. He didn't force me. I can't say I was influenced, because people don't influence me very easily. So I have to say that was me. That was something that I just decided to do at an old age at that, you know? I didn't use drugs when I was young. And yeah, I didn't feel my oats when I was young. So maybe that's why. I'm not sure.
Okay. So fast forward to the present time.
Okay.
You just said you didn't do a lot of things when you were younger. What would stop you from doing anything else that might be illicit at this time?
You know what? After my divorce, when I came back, I went back to my hometown. I realized that there's, how do I say it? It's not daisies and sunshine and roses everywhere, and I thought it was. And so when I went back home, and I realized that the people were still there that I knew when I was younger, and they were doing things that I don't remember them doing. And so, with that being said, I want to be more specific. Could you repeat the question, please?
Well, you were telling us that you didn't do many things when you were younger.
Right, yes.
However, as you matured or
Yeah.
become seasoned,
Yeah, right.
you were, I believe you said, trying out your oats. I think that was the term you used.
Yeah, something like that.
And I asked, given now, you're mature, seasoned, what would stop you from trying something else now?
No, I would not do that now. I would not do that now because I lost so much. I lost so much. I lost my house. I bought a house all by myself in Victorville. I lost my house. Shortly thereafter, I lost my children, my family. And it opened my eyes to a lot of things. It did, because a lot of people that I took care of, that I helped out, they weren't there to help me. They weren't there to help me, and that includes some family members. But I wouldn't put myself through that again. I would not, definitely not put myself through that again. It's just not going to happen. No, there's not anything that can influence me to do that again.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any questions?
No questions.
Ken Maxey, public member. I have a couple questions for you.
Sure.
You said you don't have a sponsor. Have you ever tried actively to retain a sponsor or mentor someone to kind of guide you?
Well, she left the program, or the whatever you want to call it. She's no longer with us. She had a relapse. Shortly thereafter, I broke my ankle, and so I have not been able. I have the documentation here if you guys want to see it. Shortly thereafter, I haven't really been going much to the NA meetings or the AA since May. It's been very difficult for me to get around. I'm just starting to feel a little bit better.
Do you consider cannabis a controlled substance?
What is that?
Cannabis, marijuana, do you consider that a controlled substance?
I do. I think.
Have you ever used cannabis or marijuana?
No, it smells.
Okay,
No, it makes me sick.
just check.
Because of course, yeah. My brother, he has a medical, what do you call it, a medical card to get that? He's not very well. My brother's not well. And it smells and it makes me sick. It makes my stomach, ugh, no. No, I don't like it.
So why did you pursue this profession in the beginning? And is it the same today, or has it changed? And what is your passion today, and why do you think you should be reinstated?
I can't think of anything else I want to do. I just can't think of anything else I want to do. I want to be a nurse. I still consider myself a nurse. And people ask me, are you still nursing? Yeah, I'm not nursing, but I'm still a nurse. And I can't think of anything else. I tried. I opened up my own painting business. I learned from a lot of people that I met. I learned how to fix cars, and was even thinking of going back to school to get my mechanic's license because it's so crazy. I learned how to fix cars better than some guys I know. But I believe when you hang around somebody, you learn off them. Take the good and leave the bad. And so, regarding nursing, that was my passion. My patients loved me, and I didn't do anything to harm my patients. I never would. And I just miss it so much. I really do. And it would make my kids so proud of me again. And I just, sorry. That's just my passion. That's what I want to do. I can't think of anything else I want to do.
Thank you for sharing. That's all my questions.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Samantha James Perez.
Hello.
So when you were in Allen House, that's when the default came?
Yes.
How long were you in Allen House?
I was in Allen House for a flat 60 days.
Okay, so 60 days.
Right.
And your daughter did get the accusation, but you got it late.
She received the certified mail, and she didn't give it to me.
Okay.
Because you're in a blackout for 30 days.
I got you. You weren't allowed to have any contact. Okay. And then in 2015 was it here that you came, that you couldn't get parking?
No, it was in Ontario.
It was Ontario?
Yeah.
So at the convention center, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so there's other options there, I mean, for parking, even though there is construction.
Oh, no, it wasn't.
Also on page A10, it says that you weren't able to complete, it says, I was supposed to complete a drug program, PC 100, and I really tried, but classes were during my work schedule, and I couldn't use my lunch break. It says something like that.
Yeah.
So we have a couple instances now where you're like, oh, I really tried to do it, but I couldn't. So am I correct in saying you were feeling overwhelmed? I mean, it seems like you're getting overwhelmed by these circumstances.
No, I was trying to take classes during my work schedule. That was the only time I could do it. So I would take my lunch and try to do the classes. I would schedule my lunch around my classes. And, you know, it's when you're passing meds or when you're doing something like that with a patient or there's an emergency or something, you know, there's always something different going on, always. And I was late to the classes, you know, and things like that were going on. And so, so they dropped me from the class.
So for instance.
But I really tried. I really, really did.
Sure. And with the parking situation, for instance, if you were to receive your license back, you would have to work as a vocational nurse.
Yes.
And it's hard to get sometimes it may be hard to get a nursing job with a license on, that has been revoked previously. And if, say, for instance, you had an interview, and then you said, well, I couldn't go to my interview because I couldn't pay for parking, and I didn't park on the side streets, that wouldn't cut it.
I would not say that.
You know,
I'm surprised I said that now, yeah. But it was the truth.
So, because nurses need to have problem-solving skills, yes?
Right.
So, since, in the past couple years, do you feel like your problem-solving skills have increased, or maybe you've developed any new ones?
My problem-solving skills have increased. I believe so. Because I've met a lot of different people.
Okay.
Yeah, I believe so.
And then I noticed on page A2 that you left the portion open, criminal conviction. There, it's just completely blank.
Is it?
Did you have a criminal conviction?
I believe it was under the influence of a controlled substance.
But 2009, you were not convicted?
Oh, no.
Were you ever on probation?
I think that they dropped that because I ended up doing the 186 days or something like that, but it was only one day.
Because, yeah, you didn't list any of it on there, so I
don't
wasn't
remember
sure.
even seeing that paper.
Okay. And then I noticed on page A6 and A7 that you did go to some counseling, some group treatment.
Yeah.
Currently receiving treatment, and it says 1 hour per week. Do you still go to that?
What is that for?
It says 1 hour per week, healthy relationships group therapy.
Oh, well, that was included. That was included with the Lakata.
Okay.
So honestly, since May, I have not been able to do anything, but I'm scheduled to go back.
Okay. And then I also see that you put in here that you also are an author. You said that you wrote a book.
I did.
What's the book about?
It's about well, if you've been in my shoes, to a child it would be a child's book, and it's about a mother that leaves her children to get that feeling that you get when a person holds your hand, and it's a feeling that her mother told her about, and so the mother says goodbye to her children, and she leaves her children to go look for that feeling that you get when someone holds your hand. But in the story, she meets a horse. And she says, you know, yucky, that's not the feeling that she's looking for, you know, and she tries to hold everybody's hand.
Okay, I see.
And that's what it's about. But in reality, in the story, the horse lets her stay the night in his barn, but in reality, it's a man that lets her stay the night. You know, if you,
Okay.
yeah, you have to, you had to be in my shoes to understand the book. It's a cute
And then I
cute
just have
children's
one
book.
question. When you were going to the group counseling, and also when you were going to Narcotics Anonymous, the counseling, the therapy, the support groups that you've been to, what is the biggest change that you made in your life because of what you learned at these groups?
You know, honestly, I discovered about myself, and I didn't know that. And men, I apologize, but this is what basically I was being counseled on after talking to my therapist. It was, I didn't know that men had feelings. I did not know that men had feelings.
Okay.
I guess that's from the way I was raised. Maybe I don't know. But so that was basically what I went there for one thing, but it was basically turned into that. So I learned about men. I learned that they do have feelings.
Great, thank you.
You're welcome.
My questions have been answered. Thank you.
You're very welcome.
Cheryl Turner, public member. Okay, so you said something intriguing about men and feelings. You're a nurse, or
Yes.
you were a nurse?
Yes, I am a nurse.
So
Till the day I die.
Yeah. So when you care for a patient,
Yeah.
you must know that your patients, whether they're male or female, have feelings and feel pain.
Oh, yeah.
You feel.
I was talking
are you just
relationship-wise.
Relationship, in a relationship.
Yeah, and meaning in a relationship, in a one-on-one relationship, not friend relationship or patient, relationship. Oh yeah, no, they're in pain, I run to them. No, that's a whole different. That's different to me.
Okay, and I think one of the other directors or board members commented that you didn't have any letters in your file, letters of support, recommendation. Why not?
If you could please verify that with Richard Page. He was supposed to send you guys all kinds of stuff, and I faxed it to them, but I don't think he ever did. And that's why I joined a new class. That way I could have all the documentation and present it to you guys. But then I broke my foot. But yeah, he still has all the paperwork, but he said they're in the archives. I just talked to him recently. But yeah, he didn't mail, because I was in the house at that time. He didn't mail you guys anything, or fax you guys anything. Go on. I'm sorry.
Are you referring to your rehabilitation? Are you referring to a letter of recommendation, family, friends, pastor, minister, rabbi, whoever? Where are your letters?
In 2014, I had them, and I did receive some, but I didn't know if I should give you guys the letters. I did get some. If I should give you guys the letters or just give you guys everything together, I didn't know. I wasn't sure what to do. I wasn't sure, but I do have some, and I can mail them off to you tomorrow if you want.
Thank you.
I might have some on me.
Okay, we have a follow-up question.
Okay.
Did you bring anything today?
I brought my medical paperwork, and I brought, I believe, an enrollment from Lakota, and I think what I brought was was basically, I brought paperwork when I lost my house and things that have happened in my life during that time.
No further
Would you like to see him?
Ms. Lee, we have another question?
Yes, I
Go
do.
ahead, I'm sorry.
As I listen, Ms. Sanchez, can you briefly tell us, how did you prepare to come here today? What did you think about? Did you make notes to yourself? What did you believe you needed to come to this hearing?
You know what? I knew that because I didn't complete the class and the other school would not give me the paperwork.
Talk into the mic.
I knew because I have not completed the kata. I knew that I wasn't prepared. I knew that. But to not show up would have been, to me, it would have been, I just wanted to see you guys. I just wanted to let you know that I'm still here and that I have not completed my class and that can you give me a little bit more time? And if I could see if I can pull the things out of the archives, if I can find somebody that's going to deal with me to pull them out of the archives in the class that I did complete. If not, I'm willing to complete another one. And that's what I wanted to tell you. Like, can I have a little bit more time to complete Lakata? Because that's basically what I wanted to tell you, what I wanted to ask of the boards. I wanted to ask for my license back, but to not show would have been not good for me. You know, I just wanted you guys to know that I'm still here and I still want to be a nurse. But can you give me a little bit more time?
Ms. Sanchez, you have said that several times,
Yeah.
that you need more time. What does that mean? Does that
I need
mean
6 more
another
months.
month, another year?
I need 6 more months.
I'm sorry?
6 more months, because since May, June, July, August, I was supposed to be done in September. And so since May, I've missed those classes. Since May, I haven't been back to school. So I need, what is it, 5? Yeah, I have to make up 5 months now. And so.
When did you realize you might need more time from the board?
In May.
In May of this year?
Yes.
And what did you do about that?
Actually, it was sooner than that because in May is when I broke my ankle in my foot. Okay. So it was before that when I joined the kata, which was 4 months before. I realized that I'm gonna need more time. I realized that.
When did you confirm that you were coming today with the board?
I'm not sure of the date. I'm not sure of the date.
Before you broke your foot, after you broke your foot?
It was before I broke my foot. Yeah, but I still wanted to come. I was going to call Rebecca back and let her know, but because I missed the hearing in 2014, I didn't think that would be, I just hoped that it would be better so that I could complete things and show, but it just didn't happen like that. And I greatly apologize that it didn't happen like that.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Ms. Lee, anything else?
Nothing further, Your Honor.
All right. Then with that, the matter is submitted, the record is closed, and we'll go off the record. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
We are going to take the very briefest of breaks. We'll be back in 10 minutes. All right, would everyone please try to be quiet while we proceed to the next petition hearing? All right, let's go on the record in the matter of the petition for reinstatement of surrendered license filed by Roberta Spielman, OAH case number 2017-080730. Today is August 24, 2017. My name is Howard Cohen. I'm the administrative law judge assigned by the Office of Administrative Hearings to sit with the Board of Vocational Nursing and Psychiatric Technicians to hear your petition today. May I take appearances, please?
Good morning, Your Honor. Deputy Attorney General Christine Lee, appearing on behalf of the people of the state of California pursuant to Business and Profession Code 2878.7 and Government Code Section 11522.
Good morning, and there is a quorum of the board. Would the petitioner state her name, please?
Roberta Spielman?
Good morning. Ms. Spielman, did you hear the instructions that I gave in the prior cases?
Yes, I did.
Did you understand them?
Yes.
Okay, then let's proceed. Go ahead, Ms. Lee.
At this time, I'd like to mark for identification and offer into evidence as Exhibit 1 the original petition packet and accompanying documents. The board members and petitioner have been provided with a copy. The documents consist of the following: the petition for reinstatement and supporting documents, license certification, notice of hearing and related correspondence, the 2011 board decision, and the 2006 board decision. At this time, I'd like to offer into evidence Exhibit 1.
All right, the petition packet is marked for identification as Exhibit 1. Any objection to my receiving that in evidence?
Could you explain that again?
Yes, this is your petition and the documents in support of your petition, and the Deputy Attorney General has moved them into evidence. Do you have any objection?
No.
Exhibit 1 is admitted.
Thank you, Your Honor. At this time, I'd like to provide a brief summary of petitioner's history with the board.
Go ahead.
The petitioner was issued a license with the board on January 29th, 1992. The license expired on May 3rd, 2009. On or around September 8th, 2004, September 29th, 2004, and February 8th, 2005, petitioner falsified or made incorrect entries in hospital and patient records by illegally misrepresenting material statements of facts for unauthorized prescription telephone orders of Soma and Norco, documented by pharmacies. On or around October 25th, on or around October 27th, 2005, the board filed an accusation. On October 23rd, 2006, the proposed decision was adopted by the board. On November 22nd, 2006, petitioner was placed on 5 years probation. On August 2nd, 2010, the board filed an accusation and petition to revoke probation. On or about August 27th, 2009, petitioner was convicted of violating Health and Safety Code Section 11173A, obtaining controlled substance by fraud, in this case, Norco. She was sentenced to 180 days in jail and placed on 3 years probation. The circumstances surrounding the conviction are that on April 6, 2009, petitioner telephoned in fraudulent prescriptions for Norco and Soma in the name of another to a pharmacy, in addition to admitting to being addicted to painkillers and having been found in possession of hydrocodone. On or about September 23, 2011, the stipulated decision was adopted by the board. And on October 22, 2011, petitioner surrendered her license. Petitioner was ordered to reimburse the board the sum of $2194. A balance of $894 remains outstanding. Petitioner represents that she has been sober since May 12, 2009, and wants an opportunity to get back her career. She is currently employed at Apple One doing administrative duties.
Thank you. All right, Ms. Spielman, please raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm that your testimony in this proceeding will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Okay. Try to speak up into the microphone so our court reporter can hear you. This is your opportunity to tell the board why you believe your petition should be granted.
I don't know where to start. Like back in 2004, I never was a drug user. I had injured myself at work and continued to work and ended up having surgery. I became addicted to the pain medication. Was in an accident, was rear-ended at that time, and it made it worse. Needless to say, I just would call in prescriptions for myself. Wrong. I get very nervous, I'm sorry. I'm just very ashamed of this. And I went to treatment. I did everything I had to do. I did some time. I had a sponsor. She passed away just a few years ago. I don't go to NA now. I am busy with home and working, my family, my grandchildren. And then I was great for many years, and I relapsed. I was in I got rear-ended twice again, and that kind of put me out, and I had neck surgery, and I relapsed at that time, and that's when I called it in again. My actions, there's no excuse. I had to find a way to love myself again and trust and know I am a good person. I have worked very hard. I take care of patients now as caregiving, and it's on word of mouth. I also work with the Apple One agency and do contract work. I just took a job at Lowe's to keep money coming in because I want to pay. I know I owe more money for the board. I'm kind of going all over the place, and I apologize for that. I surrendered my license because I knew I needed to work on myself. I knew physically and mentally I needed to work on myself to get to a point where I was before injury happened and before I got the disease of addiction. And at that time I didn't know it was a disease. Nobody really acknowledged it. And I was very prideful. I didn't want help. I didn't want to ask for help because I thought I could do it on my own. Then I came to the realization, yes, I need to surrender it. I need to get well. And I believe I've done that. And as I said, I ended up having neck surgery and was doing great, and it hit me again, and that's when I relapsed and decided to surrender the license. Since then, I have done extremely well, and I'm proud of myself. I've always been a caregiver, and I've been a good nurse. When she had mentioned that there was false advertisement or something about a patient chart, I think maybe it's because I made up names when I called in the prescriptions. Is that what you meant?
You can clarify that when she testifies.
I've never injured a patient. I've always been a very big advocate for patients. I am today, to this day. I hurt myself and I hurt my family. And when I was in the county jail, and my son, who had came back from Iraq and came to see me, that's when I knew that wasn't me, that I needed to get well and be serious, and not only for me, but for everybody. So, and I appreciate this chance for me to have a hearing on this. I don't know what else to say. I know I rambled because I get very nervous, and I apologize. I guess you have to ask me questions.
Well, the Deputy Attorney General,
Okay.
Do you have any questions for petitioner?
Yes, Your Honor.
Go ahead.
Ms. Spielman, do you have any pending arrests or convictions since the surrender of your license that the board should be aware about?
I surrendered in no, I do not.
And since the surrender of your license, what has been your rehabilitation program?
I have been to NA. I was going since 2004, and of course I relapsed. My sponsor had passed away, and I do not go to NA now, but I do continue very close friendships with members. I work. I'm a grandmother of 3. I'm taking care of my father, who's now in a nursing home, so there's been a lot of things going on in my life. I've had 5 people pass away since September this year, coming up. So I've been through a lot of stress and trials, and I have done very well. So.
What kind of support system do you have in place to minimize the chances of relapse, things like that?
I have my family, my husband, my kids, my cousins. I have I have the same friends I've had for over 40 years. I just know now, I know that it's not a life. I know how to breathe, take time for myself, and just stay well.
What reassurances can you provide to the board that you would not repeat these kinds of actions that resulted in discipline?
Well, my actions, following through with what I believe. I have my God. Like I said, I have my family, I have my friends, and I have employment. You know, I work, I'm a productive citizen, and I feel good about myself, and that's what's really meaningful to me.
I have nothing further, Your Honor.
Okay, let me ask the board members whether they have any questions, starting on my right.
Yes, Cheryl Turner, public member. The board gave you a chance before, you were given probation, right? But you failed to comply with the terms of probation, including you refused to enroll in a drug testing program.
I
Why is
had
that?
surgery. I had neck surgery, and I was on the medication. So I chose to, I never thought I would go back to nursing. I never thought I would want to because I was so ashamed. And since then, I have done everything with counseling, with the NA, everything I could do to ensure it wouldn't happen again, and I have done that. I'm ready to do whatever I have to do that is ordered.
So are you saying that the surgery is the only reason why you didn't comply with the terms of your probation? I mean, we have.
Well, I wasn't well.
other
I was.
issues.
One moment, let her finish her question, please.
Yes, we have other issues, medication errors, failure to maintain a valid license. Do you have a question about that?
Yeah, I don't, that's new to me, failure to retain a valid license.
Okay. Well, you failed to renew your license.
I've renewed my license every time with my.
What's in it, your accusation? All right, but, so how is your life different that, you know, if given a second chance, a third chance, that you believe that you would be able to comply with whatever terms that the board would direct you as a part of a probation?
I'm not using. I'm recovering addict. I'm a productive citizen. I live my life day to day. I work hard at it.
No other questions.
Alita Carpenter, public member. What if something were to occur, circumstances beyond your control? What if you were rear-ended once again and suffered injury? How would you deal with that?
One day at a time. I can't predict the future. I would hope not. That would not happen. I have support. I have friends. I have, in NA, I have those friends. I have lifetime friends. I have my family. I have confidence in myself that I can do it, that I know I can, that I will.
I noticed that your questionnaire seems to have been filled out in several different hands. Did you have...
I get very nervous when I'm writing and talking about myself. I can't. It's very difficult.
The handwriting itself looks like it's from different people. Do you have multiple personalities?
No, I do not.
Did you have someone assist you in filling
No, I
this
did
out?
not.
So all of the questions have been answered by you in your
Yes.
own words?
Yes, I didn't sit and do them all in one day. I took time to do them. I'm not the best, I don't have the best penmanship. You could look here and see. It's all from me. I was shaking at sometimes writing, and I was crying as I was doing it, and I apologize for that if that looks suspicious, but it was from me. I was
Thank
not
you.
high. I was good.
Hi, good morning.
Good morning.
Samantha James Perez. I have a few questions for you. So the 2009 incident of the fake prescriptions, that was while you were on probation from the board, from this board, right?
I believe so.
Okay. Now in A6 and A7, you talk a little bit about your history and your participation in NA. You also, do you have a sobriety date?
May 2009.
And what's the sobriety date from?
You know, I don't have a specific date. I honestly, it's like, I believe it's the 9th, 7th or 9th, but I never really, I don't harp on that. I find out it's hard for me to just, I don't know if you could understand it. But
My question basically is, what, that sobriety date is the date that you have become sober from what?
from narcotics.
From the opiates that you were
Right.
calling in? Right. So then I need you to help me understand or educate me on this. Because right below it, it says that you're still using prescription opiates, but you're just using them as directed.
I know, here we go. I had a slap tear in my shoulder, and as I was filling it out, I was very honest, and I was taking them at that time.
And
My
you-
husband kept them. He had, you know,
But what, help me understand, in the world of NA, in the world of addiction, is that not considered a relapse?
no, it's not, because you're taking them as directed.
As directed.
And I had somebody else hold them. Not that I didn't trust myself, but I wanted to make sure.
So the May 12, or the May 2009 date, the sobriety date, you said that's your sober date from opiates, but after that you still use opiates. So when's the last time you used an opiate?
May 2009 is when I stopped using them, just to take them.
Okay, abusing them.
Just to feel the urge for it.
And I noticed you said that you went to NA for a while and you haven't gone lately. When's the last time you went to NA?
I haven't been to a meeting in a couple years, but I still talk and see some of the members that are in there and that are ex-members.
And honestly, I don't know, so I'm asking you.
Right.
If you were to go back to NA, would they support your decision to still use opiates as prescribed?
I'm not on them now. It was at my surgery when I had the surgery for my shoulder. It was only for when I had surgery.
Okay, so the last time that you actually used any prescription opiates was when?
I had surgery not April, it was 2 years ago. It was when I worked for Mark Bruckner, Dr. Bruckner. I was on disability, and you have the letter there from him, my recommendation.
Yeah, and I'm
It
just
was-
reading, maybe you want to also turn to it A6?
I did not bring that paper with me. I forgot that. That's
Ms.
something
Cho,
I
does she have the
forgot.
paperwork in front of her?
I can provide her with one.
Why don't you go ahead, Ms. Lee?
Yeah, because you wrote something on here, I just want to clarify it with you, but I want you to see it.
Okay.
So it's on page A6.
I apologize. I forgot that paper.
That's all right, Ms. Lee will show it to you.
And it says, I had right shoulder tendon tear and surgery on April 21st, 2017. I was prescribed opiates and I took them, but as directed.
Right.
So that's this year then?
Yes, I just had the right one done. I had a muscle tear.
So you're still taking these
No,
opiates?
I'm not. I'm sorry.
Okay.
I know I've had both surgeries on my shoulder from
it's-
injuries.
Maybe you could help me understand, because in the world of addiction, and you said yourself that you called, I believe that you called yourself an addict.
Right, recovering addict.
Usually when the substance that you're addicted to, even if it's prescribed to you, was my understanding, any use of it was a relapse. But you're telling me that if you use it as prescribed, it's not.
As long as you use it as prescribed by the doctor, you are using it under the lawful way.
Okay.
I'm not just, when I was so addicted, it was like 1 or 2 didn't help, so 3 or 4 didn't help. That's the progression it got to. It is not there.
Okay, great. And again, you've also referenced, you've had a lot of injuries, unfortunately.
have.
It looks like, it sounds like you've been through a lot of pain, and you've had some injuries and some surgeries. If the board were to reinstate your license, you would have to work as a vocational nurse.
Oh, I know.
That can be physically strenuous at times. I'm sure you know that. Do you feel like you're physically capable of working the floor at the VN?
Yes, I can. I understand the LVNs are not in the hospitals anymore. I've always worked DOU or ICU or med-surg. There's home care, you can do case management.
Yeah,
There's many avenues I could go to.
And on page A18, you were stated that you were working as a medical assistant? It says, or it's Mark Bruckner, MD?
Yes.
Says Roberta Spielman was employed as a medical assistant in my office. And so you were able to go to school and take courses to become a medical assistant, and they certified
No,
you?
he knew I was LVN. I worked for him years ago, 27 years ago, as his office medical assistant. Then I went to school, got my LVN, and we reconnected. We've known each other for years. And he hired me to do his front and back office, so he called me his medical assistant.
Okay, so it's not like a certification that you got,
No.
medical assistant. Okay. And then my last question is, one of the other, in the accusation to revoke probation, there was this question of med errors. And it's on page A11, and then also D16 and 17 is where it says, it was in 2007 and 2008, the med errors that are being talked about. But then on page A11, you state that you were innocent of those charges, that someone was actually,
Yes.
maybe you want to explain that?
It was with Epiphany Care Homes. We took care of court-awarded, physically abused children. And there was an RN there who knew of my situation. I was on probation.
Okay.
And during my employment, I think I gave Imodium wrong. I didn't give it wrong. I wrote the order 2 to start, and then after that. Well, I didn't cross that out after I gave the 2, and the aide there, they're Hispanic and they didn't speak English, so I didn't know what was going on. I didn't rewrite it, so it was my error, and they were giving Imodium more so than they should have. I called the doctor, and he actually told me, you did good, because this one patient was excoriated. Her bottom was red and bleeding, and it actually cleared it up because it wasn't just running 24/7 on her.
So
But it
like-
was my error by not.
So that one was your error, but the other ones, like the calcium carbonate, Miralex, Prostat, Tagamet, Klonopin,
Yeah,
Klonopin a couple times, 3 times, Reglan, those you
No.
didn't make.
I reported her for neglect. A child fell out of a bed at 3 o'clock in the morning and broke his collarbone. When I came into work, he was off to the side on a floor, and he was crying. And this upsets me because I saw this. And I went over to him to assess him. He was my patient in that house that day. And I did a very gentle assessment on him, and I noticed he normally did cry. I can't remember his diagnosis, to tell you the truth right now. And when I did an assessment on him, he wailed. And I went to her and I told her, I think he needs to see the doctor. Why didn't he go? Well, he's fine. I gave him some Tylenol, is what she told me. And I didn't accept that. And his aunt came to see him later that day, and she was a children's hospital nurse. And we spoke, and I told her what I found, my findings. And that I was told, because she was the RN, I couldn't do anything. And she actually complained about her, and then I wrote a grievance on her and reported her for neglect. She didn't like that. And after that, it was very difficult to work there.
So,
So the med sheets she hand did, and this was probably the time I should have had glasses, but they were just a white sheet, and she kind of took a ruler and did this, the lines, and went across. So when you're trying to do your, going into the med, and the med cabinet was not locked, and if it was, the keys were right there, and they had 24-hour caregivers there that could get those keys anytime they wanted. So I was very upset about that.
so I think what you're saying is that because of those incidences,
Yes.
That these false accusations were
Yes,
made
they
against you. Is
are.
that what you're saying?
One at a time, please.
So is that what you're saying, that you believe
Yes.
these were false accusations against you because of the incidents you described? Okay.
I did tell her that when I gave a medication, I accidentally would sign in the above because of the, I wish I had a sample, but I don't. It was very difficult to see. I could have been more careful. I probably should have been, and I probably didn't see as well as I should have.
Okay.
But I will adamantly say I have never, ever abused or did anything wrong to a patient, child, or anybody.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you.
No questions.
Any questions?
No questions.
Paul Sellers, hi. I have a couple of questions for you. You attended NA for 6 years? Maybe I'm incorrect there, but you currently choose not to attend. You currently choose not to attend NA or AA, correct?
I don't go now. I find it, and honestly, I have spoke to other members in NA. I was going, and as I was sitting and listening, and I did share a lot, I've been to conventions with it, and sometimes these people will get up and talk, and they, what's the word, I'm sorry, sensationalize the using and the euphoria, and I found it to where it was starting to where it would trigger, and I didn't want to be around that. Do you understand what I'm saying? You would hear all kinds of stories, and people would tell their background, and it's a great way to get out, you know, anything you want to get out. But it started getting to the point where new members would come in, or young kids would come in, and they would I can't say that, I'm sorry, do you know what I'm trying to say? The way they spoke of it, it would start to trigger, and I found myself where I didn't want to hear that. And so I don't choose to go to the meetings, but I still see people from NA.
You described on page D21 in the hearing to suspend your license that, let me quote here, after her return to work, the continued pain and higher tolerances together with the emotional distress from the loss of a person dear and a few other added sentence. What support do you have now if those conditions were to repeat themselves? And I say that with the fact that you just recently were taking narcotics again. Describe your support system.
And I'm sorry I didn't hear the first part of your.
Please describe your current support system. How do you deal with stress now?
I have family. I have my friends, and I have grown and matured, and I know how to work out my situations. I've done that with the last surgery. It was done. I was done. I didn't need pain medication after that.
Did you inform the surgeon or your doctor that you had a history of addiction
Yes.
to opioids, so they
Yes.
were aware of that?
I've had my sponsor and other NA's members go with me to doctors.
Okay.
That's the support of it, which is wonderful.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Go ahead.
Yes, John Deerking here. Good morning, Ms. Spielman.
Good morning.
I just want to reiterate, go over this briefly. You indicated you don't go to NA now, and it has been a couple of years. And based on your statement about the stories you would hear at some of the meetings, especially with regards to the euphoria associated with opiate use, it would trigger desires in you. Are you saying that for you, NA is less of a support system than handling your addiction problem in some other way?
No. I don't know if no, because I still have friends, very good friends that I am in contact with to this day. How do I explain it without? When you go to a meeting, it's sometimes the same people all the time. Sometimes it's new people. Most of the times, there's a lot of new people from all ages. And I, you hear all kinds of stories, you hear all kinds of feelings, you hear a lot of different things. I'm getting very nervous right now. Sometimes the younger generation will talk about it, and they just talk about how they enjoyed it, and that. Do you understand what it's hard to explain unless you've been there, unless you've experienced it. I just found myself to where I got the program. I was involved, in the program. I've been to conventions. I know what it's about. I know how to get help. And I'm there to help whoever needs me. I get calls too from people still. And that's another therapy that I use by helping others. I just choose not to go sit in the rooms and do that every day.
Okay, and I bring that up for two reasons.
Right.
One, you indicated you've had a number of deaths, people related to you or friends in the past year or so. And my understanding
I have
of
a
the
funeral
program,
tomorrow.
Okay, my understanding of the program is it is a support group, and I would think, and correct me if I'm wrong, there's a greater need now for you personally for that type of support from people that have walked in your shoes, so to speak, right?
Correct.
Okay, so my question is this. You indicated that you're a recovering addict by your own testimony.
Yes.
What makes you recovering right now, today, as we speak?
The knowledge. My knowledge, the understanding of the disease, knowing I'm okay. I know how to ask for help. I know how to talk it out when I need to. I have my family. Like I said, I still have friends from NA where I get support from. I just don't do it in the rooms of NA. We go out for coffee. We'll go to a movie or dinner, or just anywhere. There's still support. I still have the support, and I still want that support.
My concern is this. Do you understand that there's a difference between not using and abstaining, notwithstanding you're taking medications as prescribed, or at least that's what you're telling us, versus recovering? Do you understand what I'm saying?
I'm not taking medication now. I took it after the surgery. It's done. If I'm understanding what you're saying. I'm not taking it on a daily basis.
All right, so you understand that recovery is a process.
Yes.
What are you doing now? What tools do you have now that will aid and facilitate that recovery so as to ensure that there's not going to be a relapse?
I'm kind of confused. What am I doing now?
Correct. What are you doing now that you weren't doing before?
I wasn't accepting. I was in denial. I was pretty self-loathing at that time.
Have you had an opportunity for either individual or group therapy of any type?
Repeat that, please.
Have you had any individual or group therapy?
Yes, I have.
Okay, when were you last in attendance?
When I was, when I had to do time, I chose to go to a Christian home therapy. It was a Christian-based addiction home. And we had meetings morning, noon, and night. We went to church. I still speak to one of the gals.
And when was that?
The 2009. I'm trying to get my dates correct. It was in 2009, 2010.
I have nothing else, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you.
Donna Norton, I have a few questions for you. Sort of just try and sum this all up and follow this up. You said that you're not a drug addict. That was your own testimony. You said that you just became addicted to opiates. But you have a long history, if I'm reading your history correctly, and it seems to start in about 2000.
No, it started, when it happened was, I think it was around 2003-04 is when I started when I became addicted.
Okay, but there was there's like 91 pages of things here, but I think that there was, within the packet was some references to 97 and the year 2000, and maybe you weren't an addict then, but.
Is this from the very first pack, before I don't have that with me, I can't even recall on that.
Okay, that's okay. My point being is that you have a long history of using opiates. But you don't consider yourself a drug addict.
It's a drug, and I am a recovering drug addict.
Okay, because that's
I am not in active addiction.
Okay. You said you were very ashamed of your behavior, and you've made a lot of reference to the fact that in your mind there's a difference between being addicted to opiates and taking them for the euphoric feeling or for whatever it is that you're trying to suppress, and taking them as directed because they're prescribed for you. You went to great pains to get those prescriptions by making up fictitious patients and calling in prescriptions and then going to pick those up. So there was definitely a drive and a need, and that's an addict's behavior.
Yes, it is.
My concern is when you have the attitude that you're recovered, and as long as you have an illness or an injury, that you get a prescription for your drug of choice, that it's okay for you to use it. And you took the safeguards of having your husband hold it for you and do all that. But is that not setting you up for another relapse? Because you've had a couple of relapses, and with this 10-year history that you have, 2019 is around the corner, and that's my concern.
I wanted to address you on the first part of what you said, and I was trying to think of it. When I went to great lengths, and I did, to get medications, I was in active addiction. I was gone. I needed it to sustain life. That is what addiction is when you're in an active addiction. It's very hard to understand if you haven't been through it or know somebody very close to you that has been through. It's same as alcoholism, just a different drug of choice. I did that. What I'm saying now is I don't do that. I had a shoulder surgery. I didn't ask for it. I didn't go and ask for it. That is what happened. Yes, I took medication for the pain, only until I didn't even take the whole time they wanted to give it to me, the whole regimen or time. And I understand what you're saying. You don't understand the difference. That would be hard for me to understand also. What I'm trying to say is I know what I've done. I know. I am an addict. I am a recovering addict. I hate that word. I truly do. I hate it. I think a lot of people do. But I know the difference. I know I'm not going to do this. I know that. I have my life to live. I'm 54 years old. I don't have much time. I have a family that I am enjoying, and I've been through a lot of hardship. I've lost 5 people within the last year, and I've done very well. Yeah, it's hard, but crying and talking, maybe screaming at times, that's what gets you through life, and I believe the normal person gets through life like that also. Everybody has their threshold. I was weak at a time in my life. I understand that. I see that. I've worked hard. I failed at times because I did relapse. I'm okay. I understand. I see the triggers. I know what not to do. And I know if I feel that I'm going to have a problem, to get help, to ask. And I am the kind of person that I talk. I talk things out and I share.
Did you said that you told the doctor that you had an opiate addiction. Did you ask for something other than an opiate?
The surgery?
Mm-hmm.
No. I took Advil in between, but it was the most painful surgery in my life. I had to sleep sitting up. I could not move. I didn't sleep for days. You can't move. Just to go in the shower, you automatically would do this to wash your hair. I didn't have a sling on or my abductor on, and when I would do that, it was excruciating. So yes, I did take that. But when I knew I didn't need it, I didn't need it.
That wasn't my question. My question was, did you tell the doctor of your addiction to opiates and ask for something other than an opiate for the pain?
I did not ask for something different, no.
Okay. Regarding your current employment, you currently are front and back office, correct?
I'm not with Dr. Bruckner any longer. I work with Apple One doing contract, and I'll do front mostly. Right now I took a position at Lowe's, customer service, just to keep money coming in, because I need money coming to pay bills. I did back office with Dr. Bruckner, for pediatrics shots, their testings, things like that, treatments.
Was he aware of, because you're understanding that medical assistants they don't have a scope of practice of their own, so they can give immunizations and do dressings and pretty much practice under the license of the doctor.
Right.
Was the doctor aware that your LVN license had been revoked?
Yes, absolutely, I told him.
Okay.
I told him I was working at getting it back.
Okay. But you don't possess a medical assistance license
I
or
don't.
certification? But you were still giving immunizations under his care?
Yes.
I think you've answered all of our questions to the best that you possibly can. So just for the record, I want to state that my hesitation and my concern is that I hear what you're saying, and I do understand about addiction. I have a relative that's an alcoholic. I watch him go through his relapses. I watch him and as hard as he tries. So I do understand it. I have a very intimate awareness of it. What I haven't gotten from you, though, is the why that you slip over into a relapse. And that hasn't come out of you yet, to my satisfaction.
I understand. I don't know how to explain it or any other kind of analogy, except when you have cancer, and it's not the same, there's no comparison. You can be in remission in cancer. And that's the same with addiction, with alcoholism. You may not use or drink for 10 or 15 years, and then something happens and you slip. And that's with anything. Do you understand what I'm saying? It could just pop up. And I might be hurting myself by saying this to you, but that's a reality. And I'm aware of the realities. I know the devastation it does. I worked so hard to get where I was, but then I was my own worst enemy, and I can't do that, and I won't do that again. I won't allow anybody to do that to me again. I don't know how else to explain it.
Okay. Thank you.
Welcome.
Okay. One more question to my right.
And to you.
So I have another question from your responses to Ms. Norton. So again, you're not certified as a medical assistant. You were just assisting Dr. Brunder medically. Do you have a CNA license still? Or did you ever have a CNA?
Through the LVN course, we had our CNA license.
You don't
I never used it.
You didn't keep it up. You didn't keep
I didn't think we had to. I never
You don't have
thought about it, actually.
So what other sorts of other things did you do for Dr. Bruckner with patients? You said that you gave immunizations. What else?
Their childhood disease shots, breathing treatments, urine tests, finger pricks, nothing with
So you did
narcotics.
the finger pricks for diabetes?
Yeah, an
And,
iron.
You said immunizations.
Physicals.
And what, so Dr. Bruckner must have believed that you had some skill in administering medications or immunizations or doing glucochecks. How did he think you knew how to do that? Did he train you on that?
I worked for him in back in, let's see, 87 or 88, when he first came to Simi Valley as a doctor.
And you worked for him in what capacity, as what
I
license?
did the front and back office. It was a big group. There was internists, there were OB, there was...
But not as an LVN?
No. And I worked for him then.
In the
And
80s.
then I decided I wanted to go, at that time, back to school. I had gotten married, and I wanted to go back to school and further my education. I enjoyed the hospital, and that's what I did. And then just, when did I started back with him in 2012, we kept up here and there, hi, how you doing, throughout the community. I lived there my whole life. And he needed someone to do his front and back, and I went in there and talked with him, and he hired me to do it.
And he knew that you were not certified as a medical
I
assistant?
told him.
That
Oh,
your
yeah.
VN was revoked?
One at a time, please.
Did he know that your history of opiate abuse?
I spoke to him of it, whether he remembers that or not. I mean, we spoke of a lot of things, and when I sat with him, I told him I was addicted, and I surrendered my license. I got in trouble, but we didn't go in depth. I mean, it wasn't like I told him I told him the gist of it.
So you've been to nursing school. You were into LVN school. When you were administering injections, administering medications, breathing treatments, finger sticks, testing urine, things like that. What I'm trying to say is, did you, under what authority or certification or licensure did you think you were doing those tasks? Under Dr. Breckner's? Or you didn't think that you needed to be a licensed or certified professional to do those things?
I'm not understanding what you're saying.
So you were doing things that generally a licensed or certified person does?
Correct.
But you didn't have a license or a certification in anything. And you've been to nursing school, so you would know that certain things require a license or certification. So when you were administering those, doing those tasks, under what job description or license capacity did you think you were doing them, or you knew that you had no?
I knew I didn't have a current license.
But Dr. Breckner had asked you to do those things, so.
I worked for him without having a license when I first worked for him.
In the 80s?
Because I started as a medical secretary.
Okay.
And sometimes they'd say, hey, they called me Robbie, can you come help in the back? And then I started doing it more and more and liked it. And
okay. So you did that back then, and this was just a continuation of that?
yeah, and then maybe in my mind, I knew I went through training, I knew how to do this.
Okay.
So,
Thank you.
thank you.
One more question.
You had another question?
I do.
Go ahead.
Thank you. Just one other little thing. Just want to make sure I'm clear. We've asked you several times about the use of medication when you're in pain. And I was just counting the number of different surgeries. And once you've had that kind of surgery, there's always a possibility for the next and the next and the next. So, and pain is just really, what work have you done or have you been involved with your physicians for alternative pain relief?
I do cortisone shots. So it takes swelling and stuff, so it helps. And Advil, Motrin.
And that, have you found that to be as helpful and something that you can use instead of?
Cortisone helps. It does help me.
Thank you.
Another question?
I just want to follow up on, you currently work for Apple One, correct? Okay.
Is that it?
Yes, I'm also at Lowe's right now. Apple, when they call me, it's not very often, not as much now.
Okay, so I'm only concerned about the Apple One. Because in your petition, it says that you work for Apple One, and it says that you're currently doing, what you've written here, that you're currently doing IVs, injections, and wound care, et cetera. When I asked you about it previously, you said you were only doing that for Dr. Bruckner, and that you weren't doing it for Apple One. But in this petition, you've written it under Apple One.
That's a mistake then. I don't work for Apple One and do IVs or anything like that. I might have.
Okay, that was the cause of my confusion then.
Right.
But you did
I'm
write that
confused
here.
now too myself. No, Apple One, I'll work in the front office, if anything. No, I don't do any, they're not a medical agency.
I didn't think so either, but that was your handwriting.
Yeah.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Yeah, sorry.
Anything else from the board? All right, Ms. Lee, any questions?
Just one question, Your Honor.
Go ahead.
You surrendered your license in October of 2011. Why are you petitioning now?
I want I really never wanted to surrender it, but I knew I needed to for me to get well, to understand pretty much life at that time that I was going through. And that I don't even know how to answer. I've always been a caregiver in some sort of fashion, and I miss it. I miss nursing. I've done it well. I've worked in the medical field since I was 19, and that's all I really know.
Nothing further, Your Honor.
Thank you very much. With that, the matter is submitted, the record is closed, and we'll go off the record. Thank you.
Thank you.
Isn't that same one?
You want to announce when we're going to reconvene?
That same one that we ate at before, where they have the Italian and the... Can you get them turn the heat up again?
So we're gonna break for lunch, and we'll reconvene at 1:11.
At what time?
Into the mic.
1:15,
Can't hear
you want to
you.
say?
You have to announce it.
We're going to reconvene at 1:15.